You can do what you wanna do and live in color. Y'all see how I had hit that? Hold on. You can do what you wanna do and live in color. I don't think Jamie got the reference. You can do what you want to do. Jamie, you could have done whatever you wanted to do with this series. Why? Welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review, here to discuss Dad, Please Don't Embarrass Me, available right now on Netflix. Now, this series stars Jamie Foxx and David Alan Grier. Sounds good, huh? Sounds good, huh? Before I get into what was going on in this series, what I thought about it, and if you guys should check this out, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that, and then we're going to come back and discuss all things. What the fuck was this? Guys have hopefully subscribed to see more of me. Let's get into this series. Now, before we really step on this series, if you are not familiar or coming from the era of the In Living Color show, the Jamie Foxx show, Held Up Jamie, Bait Jamie, if you all, after Ray Jamie, then you're used to, the dramatic acting, the action of it all. No, I'm talking about pre-steaming Willie Beeman, pre-steaming Any Given Sunday, pre all of that. I'm talking about King's Towers. That's all we need. Ain't the simple. My family, they cares for me. My baby girl provide. We talking about that. The simple things. My bad, y'all. All I need, all that That Jamie. We talk about that Jamie. And of course, David Alan, I always felt like he was really slept on as a comedian. So he never quite got to the heights of a Jamie Foxx, but he could go there. He could go from, being the really funny comedian to the very strong, dramatic actor. He has a range, but it just was never, explored as big as that. But with Jamie coming back to his series, comedy, Small Roots, I thought this has a lot of potential. Not only do we get a meetup of, two In Living Color alumni, but they are two really strong, Black, funny leads. Now, in getting into the series, we get into the father, played by Jamie Foxx, taking in his 15-year-old daughter after her mother dies. They live in Atlanta, and he is in charge of the family-owned cosmetic company. Okay. Things are, rearranged, turned around. The mother is not dead, but it was very much giving me one-on-one, very much Brianna and Flex. I'm always here for that. I always love seeing, strong Black fathers, representation on TV. Great. But it has to be funny. There is no way that we got the cast together that we got here. Now, speaking of the cast, there are not a lot of strong contenders here. I don't know who went through, the casting and how certain people were picked, but it wasn't working. It wasn't working. But We didn't need those things to work because at the end of the day, we had Jamie Foxx and David Alan Grier. There is no way that this show should not have been hilarious. But it seems like whoever wrote this show went out of their way to make this unfunny and unrelatable. Who wrote this? I need to speak to the manager. Now, not only does Jamie Foxx star in this show, but he created the show along with his daughter. The demographic. I was not sure what they were gunning for and exactly who this show was for. Now, you watching the trailer, very Disney Channel. This show is very Disney friendly. But with it having the rating of being for 14 and older, it gives you a Disney Channel aesthetic, but you have things like adults doing a lot of cursing, a lot of, drug jokes and a lot of weed smoking, along with a lot of, sexual jokes and, sexual situations. And it's just like, it's like they tried to mix making this really, kid-friendly preteen teenage show, but also hit the older generation in a certain, it just did not mix cohesively. It was very confusing and made the jokes for the show even worse. They should have picked one and focused. I really feel like the show would have benefited from, bringing that just on low, just made it a really kid-friendly ages, I'll say 8 to 12. We should have stuck right there. We should have stayed right there. We didn't need to be included in this. We didn't need all the, the fucks and the shit and the goddamn and the it didn't go. It didn't go. And also the acting on all parts was just bad. Now, with the acting being bad and the writing being bad and the jokes just not landing, we also have this running gag of everyone on the show breaking the fourth wall and talking to the audience and, kind of trying to pull you into the joke. It got really old really fast and it did not work. Stop that. We also have things like relationship setups within the show that just don't work. Now, surprisingly, even with them being so close in age, the David Alan Grier as, the older father and the Jamie Foxx, that thing worked. Their chemistry together here, even with the bad writing, seeped through. And then we have things like Jamie Foxx and his will they or won't they relationship with his assistant who works for his company. And it just adds absolutely nothing. And it's so drawn out and so boring and just so uninteresting and took us nowhere. And then we get into his sister character who's in a relationship with a cop who has a biracial daughter who lives next door that just happens to be Jamie Foxx's best friend. Why? It was like they just forced them two together so that we can see an interracial couple on TV. It made absolutely no sense, added nothing to the story, and was just happening. And then we get into things like, most episodes are involving, new school versus old school. New school, we're, still having belief in, God and going to church and versus the new school of, spirituality and yoga and questioning faith and why things are the way they are. And we also have things like cyberbullying versus, old school bullying where, people were physically in your face and all of these things to kind of touch on then versus now. But with the writing and how botched it is, it just does not flow and it was bad, y'all. It was bad, all of the, little babies, the baby, all the talk of the artist and, going back, in my day, we would have, well, daddy, it's not like that now. Now it was so fake. Who wrote this? I feel like someone between the ages of 20 and 25 wrote this show. Somebody. With the writing being so bad and at times so forced and just not cohesive, We also have Jamie giving his, impersonations. Why? It was like Jamie had never did comedy before. I did not understand. Now he has not always been, one of those top notch impersonate, like the Avery Spears or Godfrey. When they impersonate someone, it is Avion Crockett. It is on point. Jamie has not always been, that on point with it, but when he does his impressions here, they're very random, very out of place, have nothing to do with the scene, and they're not funny, most of all. And then we have Jamie giving us, multiple characters where he's playing, this and that person, and he's, in maybe a prosthetic or different clothing, a different wig. It was very much giving knockoff Martin. I was very much getting knockoff Dragonfly Jones, knockoff Dead Boy Otis, knockoff White Bob. You remember White Bob? We're out of control. This whole damn party's out of control. It was not funny. It was not funny. And once again, it didn't add anything to the plot or to the story. There wasn't one actor here, one person here that added anything that you wanted to see, ever. And then with the episodes being all over the place and trying to really hit key points, it's like they went on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and went, okay, we need to put that topic in the show. We need to make sure we tap on that. Oh, we got, spirituality and church. Let's, touch on technology. Let's touch on cyberbullying, and let's touch on the Black Lives Matter movement and, police brutality in communities. That episode, I don't even want to talk about the episode. That episode took me out. I was like, what the hell is going on? Who wrote this and why? The show was so cheesy and just, it was awful, y'all. It was awful. But that episode in particular, I was just like, y'all could have kept this. Thank you so much for trying to touch on these things and maybe get this to a broader audience, to some people who may not know about, what's going on with the police right now. But hey, your rendition of what you were serving up, the whole thing with the pie and the white neighbors, and y'all could have kept it. Y'all could have kept it. If y'all want to know about it, just go look at it. I'm not going to talk about it because it upset me for that whole episode to be taken so lightly with everything going on. And the best way we could think to tackle racism and being profiled and kids being handcuffed and put to the ground was to not really say much to the officers, let them go on their merry way, sign a couple of autographs. But no, the neighbors who happen to, profile these teenagers get a pie in the face. Now, I will say the best thing about this series was David Alan Grier. He did what he could with what he had. Like, I just wish he would have whispered in Jamie's ear, like, nah, dog, this ain't it. But he did what he could. Was it hilarious? Was it funny? No. But in a complete series that was not funny, you're going to take what you can get. And then I also have to give, kudos to the person playing, the white officer, the friend. Though his story and his plot was all over the place, like I guess his wife had died also or divorced, I don't know. And he just was sleeping with the sister, that little guy. The best thing that came from him, I'm sure I could have taken the time to look this man up, but I didn't because I just didn't want to give any more of my energy to the show. I don't know if Jamie wants to put him on forefront, like, hey, use this show. Hey, show him what you, because, everybody in the show who was a comedian, they wanted to, do impressions, do this, sing, do everything they could possibly do to show, hey, you remember when I told these jokes? You remember I do impressions, right? You remember I sing? It worked here with the white character because his impressions were really spot on. And when he did get into making jokes within the series, they were actually funny. His whole stand-up session and him finding his passion, the impressions were good. If you didn't know who he was, you can get a grip of, what he is and what he can bring to the table as far as a comedian and impersonations, just as a comic. That was good. Everything else, disappointing. If you go into this and you're expecting a laugh out loud good time with Jamie Foxx and David Alan Grier, and a father-daughter bond happened. Like, they even dropped the ball on that. How do we go into, don't even get me started with Luenell and that damn sexual-esque therapy session in the beginning. Why? Why did we let that scenario go on for that long? It was quite uncomfortable, if you ask me, but okay. But if you're going in, like, how do you drop the ball on the basis of your show? I was waiting for them to have a, really father-daughter moment and acknowledging, the mother being gone and having to deal with, stress and how traumatic it can be to lose someone as close as your mom, because, we go through the whole spew of Jamie's character also losing his mother and them maybe having a bonding moment over that. Nope. We just get gag after gag and joke after joke and weak bonding moment after weak bonding moment. And even when I thought we were maybe going to get that with the whole church episode, we just end up falling into this really unfunny preacher portrayed by Jamie Foxx, in disguise and whatnot. And this over the top, someone that you would never look at and go, I could follow his ministry. But, the girl's like, oh, it was awful. It was awful. The show sucked. If you were expecting anything great from here, do not. If you were expecting nostalgia from here, do not. Don't watch this show. Don't waste your time. I even brought my daughter in for a little bit, and she likes a little bit of everything. Even my daughter was like, can we watch something else? Because I don't want to watch this. Yes, girl, we can. We can watch something else because I don't want to watch this either. But you guys, that was my reaction to the show. If by chance you actually watched this or tried to watch it, because honestly, it was a struggle to make it through all 8 episodes, please comment below what you thought. Am I looking at this from a 90s kid's eye and perceiving it wrong? Was it hilarious? Did I miss the boat? Drop down and tell me that. If you thought this was as horrible as I did, drop down. Drop down. Let's talk. I see you guys next time. Bye.